The life-giving character in Nosangreal, the knight counterpart to the personal vampire, is a psychotherapist, someone who's treated a patient who believes he's acquired youth without limit. During the process of talking to him and treating him, she believes that she's acquired the ability as well, but she's afraid to find out for sure because she's only in her early 20s and has no physical signs of having reverted to young adulthood. She also thinks that she might be able to do things much like the Holy Grail does, in that she can create and duplicate organic matter. She's afraid to talk about this openly until she hears from the personal vampire that she's dealing with someone who's undead and she thinks is beyond her help. Therefore, she feels no obligation to help him and relates her story. That story is also mentioned in the Power of Myth series with Joseph Campbell and Bill Moyers, about a place in Hawaii where people go above this high bridge over a gorge to have their hair blown around or to commit suicide. A pair of policemen are driving up to this bridge and they see a young man climbing up on the bridge with the apparent intention to jump. One policeman stops the car and the other one jumps out of the car and catches hold of the young man just as he's going over the edge and hangs on to him despite the fact that he can feel himself being dragged over and is eventually stopped only by his partner. At this critical moment, the policeman hung on even in the belief that the young man's weight would carry him over and he would fall to his death. He was asked afterwards why he did so, and he said that if he had let go, he couldn't have lived another day. Campbell attributes this to metaphysical breakthrough, that our lives are interconnected and the fate of one depends upon the fate of the other, and that we express our humanity, our empathy and compassion by reaching out to people. One possible irony of this is that the personal vampire, like any other, may be interpreted as a projection of the therapist's desires and fears, so that the two really are one. However, the therapist character has a tough time reconciling this story as something a good person should do and the model of heroic good behavior because of its sacrificial elements. The idea that in order to be one with other people, you have to share in their suffering and their death. She sees she's come to a point where she can't bear the society of others, can't walk among large groups of people anymore, and has come out to the park in the middle of the night because it's so difficult to be around people that she sees as collectively having given up on the possibility of living without aging, and therefore having condemned themselves to slow death by aging, which she now sees because of her new abilities as a form of suicide. The idea of the story is that a good person should not be able to resist reaching out to help someone else who's attempting to commit suicide. But she's now in a situation where there's not merely one person jumping off a bridge, but all of society appears to be jumping off a bridge. And she, in order to continue existing and have a chance of helping anyone, has to shut off her empathy and engage in a sort of triage. So she tells this story to the personal vampire character and says, like you, I'm essentially a monster. I must be one because I could be passively killing people by not passing on what I can do to them.